Over 60? Avoid these three vegetables. Eat these instead for stronger joints and legs. Have you ever gone to stand up from a chair and your knees just don't want to cooperate? Maybe you've noticed a little more stiffness in your hips when you wake up, or your legs feel heavier than they used to when climbing stairs. It's easy to brush these things off as just getting older. But what if some of the foods on your plate were making things worse without you even realizing it? I know, it sounds surprising, especially when we're talking about vegetables, right? We grow up being told they're all good for us, and most of them are. But here's the thing, not all vegetables are ideal for everyone, especially when you over 60. And maybe a big scoop of spinach stirred in. Spinach is a favorite for a lot of people. It's easy to cook, full of iron and low in calories. But here's what you might not know. Spinach is also high in something called oxalates. Oxalates are natural compounds found in certain vegetables that can bind to calcium in your body and make it harder for you to absorb it properly. And trying to protect your joints and keep your legs strong and mobile. As we age, our bodies naturally become more sensitive to certain compounds in foods. Some cause inflammation. Others make it harder for your body to absorb minerals you need for joint and bone health. That's why today, I want to talk to you about three vegetables you may want to think twice about if you're struggling with stiffness, joint pain, or weakening legs. And even better, we'll also go over three powerful vegetable swaps that actually support joint health and hope. Your legs stay stronger for longer. So let's dig in. Picture this. You're enjoying a nice homemade vegetable soup, maybe something hearty with beans, carrots, onions. Why does that matter? Because calcium isn't just about strong bones. It's also important for your joints, your muscles, and even the way your nerves fire. If your body can't absorb calcium properly, it can affect everything from balance to mobility. But if you're dealing with joint pain or have a history of calcium issues or kidney stones, it might be worth cutting back and swapping it for something friendlier to your joints like kale. Kale is packed with vitamin K, which is incredibly important for bone health, and it's also lower in oxalates. It has a bit more texture, sure, but when it's cooked down or blended into a smoothie, it's a fantastic joint-friendly green that gives your legs more of what they need to stay strong. Oxalates can also contribute to kidney stones and inflammation in some people. Two things we definitely don't want more of after 60. Or even blend them into a smoothie with a little orange and ginger for a surprisingly refreshing combo. Your joints will thank you. Now, I'm not saying spinach is bad for everyone. Now, here's another one that catches people off guard. Tomatoes. Tomatoes are a staple in so many kitchens. From sauces to salads, they show up everywhere. But for some folks, especially those with arthritis or joint sensitivity, tomatoes can actually trigger inflammation. It doesn't happen to everyone, but it's more common than you might think in people over 60, especially those already dealing with joint conditions. That's because they're part of a group of vegetables called nightshades, which also includes eggplant, bell peppers, and white potatoes. Beets are a powerhouse when it comes to circulation and joint recovery. They contain nitrates, which help open up blood vessels and improve blood flow, especially to the legs. That means better oxygen delivery to your muscles and joints, which helps reduce stiffness and keep things moving more smoothly. Some people are more sensitive to nightshades than others, but the inflammation they can trigger in susceptible people isn't something to ignore. If you've ever noticed your knees or fingers getting puffier or more painful after a pasta dinner or a tomato-heavy stew, this could be why. So if tomatoes are off the table, or at least on the eat less of list, what can you have instead? One great option is beets. And don't worry, if the idea of eating whole beets seems a little much, you can shred them into a salad raw, roast them into sweet little wedges. Now let us talk about one more sneaky veggie that might be dragging you down without you even knowing it. Corn. I know corn isn't always thought of as a vegetable, but it often ends up on the plate next to peas and carrots, so we treat it like one. But here's the thing. Corn is incredibly high in starch and sugar, and for many people over 60, it spikes blood sugar levels more than expected. Why is that a problem for your joints and legs? Because blood sugar spikes are linked to increased inflammation, and inflammation is the root cause of most joint pain. Plus, most corn today is genetically modified and heavily sprayed with pesticides, which can cause even more issues for sensitive individuals. And when you add in how easy it is to overeat cornbread, popcorn, corn chips, it starts to become more of a burden on the body than a benefit. So instead of corn, try sweet potatoes. They still give you that hearty, comforting bite, but they're loaded with antioxidants like beta-carotene and vitamin C. These nutrients support collagen production, which is essential for healthy joints. And they've been shown to help reduce joint inflammation in older adults. Bonus, sweet potatoes are naturally sweet and full of fiber, which helps stabilize blood sugar and keep your energy levels steady throughout the day. Now that we've touched on spinach, tomatoes, and corn, and some smart swaps like kale, beets, and sweet potatoes, you might already be thinking about what's in your fridge or pantry. And that's great. Awareness is the first step toward better health, and even small changes in what we eat can lead to big shifts in how we feel. Now that they uncovered some surprising vegetables that might be holding your joints back and explored a few delicious, joint-friendly swaps, you might be wondering, how much of a difference can changing just a few veggies really make? You'd be amazed. Our joints are complex structures made of cartilage, fluid, connective tissue, and bone. As we age, all those parts naturally go through wear and tear. But what many people don't realize is how powerfully food affects inflammation inside the body. One of the best ways to do that? Fill your plate with colorful, antioxidant-rich produce. Inflammation is like a slow-burning fire. When it's under control, everything runs smoothly, you feel more mobile, your legs move with ease, and your knees don't scream every time you take a step. But when inflammation builds up often from hidden food triggers, it can feel like everything just stiffens up overnight. And broccoli isn't the only source. You'll also find it in Brussels sprouts, cabbage, and even arugula. But broccoli is one of the easiest to find and the most versatile to cook. Try roasting it until the edges are crispy, or steaming it lightly and tossing it with lemon juice and a bit of olive oil. It can go on the side of almost any meal and gives your body a huge dose of support without much effort. That is why removing certain vegetables and replacing them with better choices isn't just a trendy idea, it is a tool for feeling better in your own body. Let us take a closer look at what happens when you start choosing vegetables that actually calm inflammation instead of fueling it. Let me give you a simple image. Picture your dinner plate like a medicine cabinet. The deeper and richer the color of the vegetables on your plate, the more healing nutrients you're giving your body. Beets, as we mentioned earlier, are a perfect example. They're rich in a compound called betaline, which helps fight inflammation and supports better circulation. That's key for joint mobility and especially important for leg health, because good blood flow means less stiffness and more strength. Another vegetable that deserves more attention, especially for people over 60, is broccoli. Now, I know some folks wrinkle their nose at broccoli, especially if it brings back memories of being forced to eat it as a kid. But stay with me here. Broccoli is loaded with a compound called sulforaphane, which has been shown in studies to actually help slow down the breakdown of cartilage in the joints. That's a big deal because cartilage is what cushions your bones and allows your knees, hips, and ankles to move without pain. When cartilage wears away, every step starts to hurt. Sulforaphane is like nature's little repair kit for aging joints. Now, let's talk about something a little different, how your vegetables are prepared. You might be picking all the right ingredients, but if you're frying them in heavy oils or drowning them in salty sauces, You could be taking away the benefits without realizing it. Many commercial vegetable dishes, especially frozen or restaurant-style ones, are loaded with sodium, processed oils, and even sugar. All of that increases inflammation and makes joint pain worse over time. Instead, keep your cooking simple. Steaming, roasting, sauteing in olive oil, or even enjoying veggies raw are great ways to preserve the nutrients your joints need. Olive oil itself is actually anti-inflammatory, so if you use a light drizzle over roasted vegetables, you're giving your body a boost rather than adding to the problem. And speaking of anti-inflammatory fats, avocado might not be what you think of as a vegetable, but it plays a huge role in supporting joint health. It's packed with healthy monounsaturated fats, potassium, and fiber, all things that help your joints feel more lubricated and less stiff. You're already doing something powerful just by being aware. Whether that means playing with the grandkids, walking through the garden, dancing in the kitchen, or simply getting out of bed without groaning, those are the moments that matter. And the food you choose plays a bigger role in those moments than most people realize. Every bite you take is a chance to support your health, to reduce pain, and to give yourself more energy and freedom to enjoy life. Add a few slices to a salad, mash it on toast, or blend it into a smoothie. You might be surprised how easily it fits into your routine. Maybe you skip the tomato in your sandwich and you slice roasted red pepper instead. You deserve to feel strong, steady, and full of life, no matter what age is on your birthday cake. Or instead of corn on the cob, you roast sweet potatoes or toss in some broccoli. Small, manageable changes like these add up, and you may notice that after a few days or weeks, your knees don't ache as much, your legs feel lighter, and even your hands feel more flexible. Now let's circle back for a moment. You might be thinking, I've been eating tomatoes or spinach for years. Should I just stop cold turkey? The answer is not necessarily. Every body is different. Some people are more sensitive to oxalates or nightshades than others. What matters most is listening to your body. Start by gradually swapping out these vegetables one by one. See how you feel. You don't have to cut out everything all at once. This isn't about being restrictive. It's about being intentional. Let's say you start by replacing your morning spinach omelet with one made from kale or Swiss chard. That's what we're aiming for here, not perfection, but progress. Because that's really what this is about, feeling good in your own body. So go ahead and fill your plate with color, flavor, and foods that love your body back. So far, we've looked at a few vegetables that might be quietly causing more harm than good, especially when it comes to joint and leg health after 60, and we've also covered several nourishing anti-inflammatory swaps that can give your body the support it needs to move, stretch, walk, and stand with less pain and more strength. But what does it really look like to live this out? Let's make it real. Maybe you used to toss spinach into your morning smoothie, serve corn as a quick side dish, or add tomatoes to almost every dinner. Now instead, you reach for kale or Swiss chard in your smoothie, still green, still fresh, but far easier on the joints. Maybe your quick side becomes some roasted sweet potatoes instead of corn. And those tomatoes? Try lightly sautéed zucchini or roasted bell peppers, both of which add richness and color without the inflammation risk. Imagine you're planning your meals for the week, and corn is really about taking a broader look at the role food plays in how you feel each day. You can try a week without tomatoes and see if your fingers feel a little less swollen. After 60, the muscles in your legs naturally begin to lose strength unless you give them what they need. And that's not just movement, it's also nutrition. The right vegetables can help reduce swelling, boost circulation. Even one change can start a ripple effect. Maybe that one change leads to a better night's sleep, or less knee pain in the morning, or the energy to go for that walk you've been meaning to take. And even improve muscle function by supplying nutrients like potassium and vitamin C. That means fewer cramps. better balance, and more energy when you're on your feet. You can cook with kale instead of spinach and notice if your digestion improves. This is Sin Tea about cutting out every so-called bad food or feeling guilty if you eat a tomato or two. This is about tuning in, paying attention to how your body responds, and making smarter, kinder choices as you go. You can swap out corn for sweet potatoes and maybe, just maybe, take those stairs with a little more ease. Some vegetables that once felt harmless or even healthy might just be the sneaky source of that tightness in your knees or that stiffness in your ankles. These are not massive changes, but they add up. Every day, you swap out a vegetable that fuels inflammation for one that helps fight it. It helps relax tight muscles, keeps your nerves firing properly, and supports bone health. Yet, many seniors aren't getting enough of it. Where do you find it? In leafy greens like kale and chard, and avocado, and in vegetables like beets. The more you lean into these foods, the more you build a foundation for smoother movement and less discomfort. Things like vitamin K, magnesium, potassium, and natural antioxidants. Cucumbers, zucchini, celery, even lettuce, all of them help keep your body hydrated. And when your joints are hydrated, they're more flexible, cushioned, and less likely to ache. Think of it like oiling a squeaky hinge. Water-rich vegetables help keep things moving smoothly. These aren't just names on a label. These are the building blocks that help your body repair, protect, and perform. You're giving your joints the tools they need to stay. Mobile, cushion your movement and support your legs as they carry you through life. And here's the thing, not only are you reducing inflammation, but you're also adding in more of the nutrients that your joints thrive on. Take magnesium, for example, and let's not forget about hydration. You might not think of vegetables as a source of water, but they absolutely are. So while we focused on the big three trouble veggies, spinach, tomatoes, but here's the empowering part. You have a choice. You can experiment. You can listen to your body. And when it comes to your legs, your foundation, they need more love than ever. Now, I want you to hear this clearly. You don't need to be perfect. And if you were already doing some of this, if you've swapped out a veggie or two, or started including more beets, sweet potatoes, or leafy greens, you're doing great. Your journey doesn't have to be dramatic to be meaningful, just consistent. And speaking of consistency, here's a tip. Batch cook your vegetables. Roast a tray of beets, sweet potatoes, or broccoli on the weekend, and keep them in the fridge, making scrambled eggs. Throw in some kale, making a sandwich. Add a few slices of avocado and some sprouts instead of a tomato. Having pasta? Toss in some roasted zucchini or sautéed mushrooms. You're not overhauling your diet, you're enhancing it, one choice at a time. That way, when it's time for lunch or dinner, you've already got healthy options ready to go. No need to stand over the stove every time. It's about making it easier to succeed. Now's the time to make sure your body can keep up with your spirit. It helps the channel grow, and it lets me know this kind of content is valuable to you. You deserve joints that move without pain, legs that feel stable and strong, and the kind of energy that lets you enjoy the people and things you love most. Because your health journey doesn't stop at 60. If anything, this is the beginning of a stronger, more intentional chapter. Another great trick, add veggies to what you're already eating. And if you're worried about flavor or getting bored, there are so many ways to season vegetables without reaching for heavy sauces. Try garlic, lemon, olive oil, fresh herbs like basil or thyme, or even a pinch of turmeric, another anti-inflammatory powerhouse. What's your favorite veggie that makes your joints feel better? I'd love to hear from you. The goal is to enjoy your food and feel good after eating it. You've spent decades building your life, your wisdom, your resilience. If this video helped you learn something new, or even just got you thinking differently about what is on your plate, go ahead and tap that like button. And don't forget to subscribe so you can keep getting real, simple health tips that are made just for you. Let me know in the comments. Have you tried any of these swaps? Here's to stronger legs, happier joints, and meals that make you feel your absolute best at any age.